It is awesome. It's a great thing. It's, these sports that have worked in a bubble, have found ways to deal with this. And one of the sports that worked in a bubble, Coach, and you know this, being a fellow member of the TV of the World Announcers Union, is that Paul Felder at the UFC is stepping out of the commentary booth and going back in the cage. It's huge.
It's huge, and for those of us who are members of this union, confidentiality is a really, really big thing, and having stuff not leak out. But we really felt here at Follow the Action, all of us, that we needed to protect Joey's head from exploding. So we had to gently initiate this discussion with Paul Felder, Joey's biggest nemesis, stepping in a main event this week on ESPN Plus. And so he showed up on the show this week. So I'm glad Joey's here. I just don't know if he can be non-biased when picking this main event. Joey, can you?
I can be non-biased. No bias with my. I knew this was going to turn. I knew this was coming full circle. I get the probably the nicest, most, just company man for the UFC and Paul Felder. He's a company man, took this fight late notice. He's a great, arguably a great announcer with a couple flaws. And I have to point out the one mistake that he made, probably, I don't know how many mistakes he made. I didn't keep a tally, but clearly I was right. I mean, it was a foot sweep, and we can rehash this, and I found the video of it, and he said it wasn't a takedown, and it was a takedown. And, I'm not trying to build a career out of this over arguing with Paul Felder, but he took a shot at my weight. He said something about my chin, and I wasn't talking about hitting me. He was saying there was an extra one there or something to that effect. And I took that. I get it, Paul, but I was correct about the foot sweep. Okay. And so this week, Paul Felder steps up. Look, how many guys are going to step up on 5 days' notice? Paul Felder's got heart, he's got balls, and he's a tough dude. 17-5. I had said when I said was knocking his commentating a little bit, I never said he wasn't a really good competitive fighter. His fights, the majority of them, I mean, he's had a couple fights of the night. He stays within like a 2-to-1 favorite kind of range since he came over. And he's in with Rafael dos Anjos here. Brazil's dos Anjos, former champ. And it kills me to say it, but Paul Felder's got a shot. I mean, it just, look, dos Anjos, we talk about numbers, and there's so many ways. Like, I love these stat guys out there because there's so many ways I can make, talk about Paul Felder and dos Anjos. And, Paul Felder, 5 of his 10 fights, he had 10 fights ending decision, 5 of them losses. 4 of those 5, though, were by split decision. So you say, well, geez, he doesn't do very well when it goes to decision. That would be your general thing, the way I presented it. Same thing with dos Anjos. He lost 4 of his last 5 fights. Okay. He beat Kevin Lee, who in turn beat Gillespie. And, he looked like one of the few times where a guy bounces back and looks good. Anyway, my point here that I don't even have a point. My point is that Paul Felder has a really good shot to upset Rafael dos Anjos here. He's coming in on short notice. Now, listen, dos Anjos was in with a murderer. He was in with that Islam Makhachev, that Dagestani kid that was 18-1. That Dagestani kid who beat my man Armin Sarakian. I said that one right. He was the Georgian wrestler that had wrestled freestyle from 14 to 21 and came in on late notice against Islam. And Islam handled him all 3 rounds. Lost on the underdog there, but Islam was supposed to fight this fight, just got staph, I guess. But he was like a 5-to-1 favorite over dos Anjos. So now dos Anjos goes from being a 5-to-1 underdog into a favorite role here at, almost 2-to-1 over Paul Felder. There's not a lot of pressure on Paul Felder to win this fight. I mean, he's been teetering on retirement for a while. Dos Anjos, his first fight in the UFC was, 2008. Felder didn't even have a pro debut till 2011. And dos Anjos is actually older than Felder. So you'd say, why is Felder retiring when he's rating a hunt here? He's fighting dos Anjos, who again lost 4 of his last 5. But I mean, he's back down at 55. He looks, he's looking to try to make a title run here and a stacked weight class. I don't ever see that happen. I think he's too long in the tooth now. But anyways, Paul Felder's got a good shot to win this fight. I'm going to be rooting for Paul Felder this way. If he does not get there, and I'm going to root for Paul Felder. Look, my money is, I'm blind when it comes to money. You know what I mean? I'm a diehard.
You know what? I'm going to stop you right there. I'm going to stop you right there because I've done this before when Godfather tried to do this or something similar to this. I'm not going to sit here and listen to you when every part of you should be saying Paul Felder has no shot. So because you're doing this, and I think you're being very fake right now, I'm out.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
Mic drop.
We got some major beef.
Wow.
I mean, Coach goes on Visa one time.
I won the pool.
I
just won the pool.
What the hell is going on here? I mean, Joey's objectivity and professionalism, and he's actually saying that Felder has a shot here, is huge. He's leaving his emotion at home, and he's telling you honest to God truth. And all of a sudden, Coach is blowing up. His golf picks are on fire, and now he's out. Unbelievable.
It's like the third time Coach left.
He's good at quitting. Joey,
another tantrum.
Can you upset the coach before the show starts next time?
He just took the fire out of me, Coach. He just burst my bubble.
So now you got a beef with Paul Felder and with Jonathan Coachman.
The two of the nicest guys in show business, right? Just ask them.
So you think Felder's got a shot? What else you got on the card, Joey?
A guy that I liked last week, Brendan Allen. Brendan Allen's coming in here against Sean Strickland. Allen was supposed to fight Ian Heinisch. Remember I talked about Ian Heinisch? He got locked up abroad and had some problems. And then he turned he did some time over in Europe, smuggling dope or whatever. And then he came back got fighting in the LFA, got into UFC, turned his life around. I always rooted for him, but not last week because he was fighting Brendan Allen. Allen was $1.70 there. He went down to pick him. Okay. Heinisch tested for COVID. I guess the day of the fight got called off. I'd have felt real good going in with Allen knowing that Heinisch was sick. Anyways, Allen is back. They rescheduled him here. He's fighting Sean Strickland. Sean Strickland had been in an accident. 2018 was after 2018, Sean Strickland had a 2-year layoff. Got in a bad accident, got hit on a motorcycle. His car pulled in front of him. Guess he got a pretty good chunk of money out of it. And, maybe his fighting career wasn't the top priority. But he came back last week, October 31st, beat Jack Marshman. Marshman's got 9 losses on his record. It was a softball for Strickland coming back. Strickland was up at 185 from 170 for the first time. Strickland dominated the fight, won all 3 rounds. Marshman got double-digit losses. Now, Strickland's on a quick turnaround here. He's going to fight Brendan Allen. It was supposed to fight Ian Heinisch. If you remembered all that, you're better than me. But he's been anywhere from a pick'em to a -175 favorite back down. Allen's around pick'em right now. Allen is going to win this fight, in my opinion. And last week, I thought if Allen beat Heinisch, it would go under. I lean to the over here. Boom.
Awesome.
Passion.
Boom.
And you got rid of Coach.
That's the best part of the whole damn thing.
Oh my God, awesome. Great.
Like a pick 6. That's money.
Coach took his boyfriend to the box and went home.
Oh my God.
Well, we've been promised also, I've seen on social media, if you follow him, it's the college kids. Matt from representing the college kids has been promising a premium move right here on our show. So Matt, we're all waiting. People are going to be tuning in like crazy for this. What is that move?
So we have a great move for Sunday night, or Sunday actually, football. It's a premium move that we gave out. It's going to be on the Arizona-Buffalo game. When we take a glance at Arizona, we look at the teams they've beaten. They have a combined total record of 14-28, which is only a 33% win rate. The teams they've lost to have had a combined total record of 11-14, which is below that 50% threshold. In totality, when you include their whole schedule, the teams they've gone up against have a combined record of 25-42. Now let's compare that to Buffalo, okay? Buffalo, the record of teams they have beaten marks up to 24-34, which is better than Arizona. The record of teams they lost to, the only teams they've lost to, have a combined record of 14-3, which is 83% win rate, okay? They've only lost to the Chiefs, the Titans, 2 of the best teams in the league. And total they versed teams with a combined record of 38-37, which is above that 50% threshold. Now we're looking at the Bills' schedules. Okay, they've beaten now 4 teams with a winning record. Now put that in comparison with Arizona. Arizona's only beaten 1, and that's Seattle. And we saw what Buffalo did to Seattle. They absolutely crushed them last Sunday. Arizona's pass defense to me is overrated. Buffalo's pass offense is stellar. It's awesome. It's magnificent. They're going to come out. Josh Allen, he's having a stellar season, amazing season. I think he's going to tear up. There's Arizona pass defense. I love Buffalo +2. Take it. Watch it win Sunday.
Awesome pick for you, a premium pick for all of our listeners out there. And there's only one man alive that could follow the greatest combat sports handicapper ever, the future of sports betting, and Coach walking off the show, which is the greatest thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. And I turned 54 this month. And that man is fighting out of the city of brotherly love. 64.8% last year in the NFL, and he's crushing it again this year. The Philly Godfather, you're the main event. What do you got for us?
You know, I'm so upset that Coach left. I was going to bust his balls because he was talking about balls earlier, the double eagle and all that stuff. But he left the show. I was going to ask him if he had the balls to bet on the Colts on the money line. And that's one of our bigger moves this week, Thursday night action. But let's get to the game. I'm going to break down here. Game 275, 276 on your sports betting screen. And the Colts are a bonus pick, John. I know how you like those bonus picks.
I love bonus picks. I love bonus picks. Colts money line, I'm betting it right now.
We got two teams that they look like they're headed into polar opposite directions. I mean, Minnesota, I talked about them last week. There's a lot of value on this team moving forward. They've won 2 in a row. The Bears have lost 3 in a row. And now the Vikings are coming into hostile territory. Soldier Field, never an easy place to play. Monday Night Football prime time, but they got a full head of steam. Going for them after starting off the season just 1-5. They're starting to play some real good football. They beat the Packers as 7-point dogs. We had them on the money line in that game, and they outperformed the market again last week as 3.5-point favorites over the Lions. They won that game by 14 points. And to be honest, Dalvin Cook, he looks unstoppable. He's healthy. In his last 2 games, I think he's rushed for over 360 yards. Last week, if you guys remember, like I said, I mentioned how this Minnesota team is going to have a lot of value moving forward, and this is one of those games. At this price, Minnesota -2.5, I think you can catch a ticket here on Mike Zimmer's squad. Offensively, the Vikings look like world beaters right now. They're ranked number 1 in the yards per pass attempt, number 1 in yards per rush attempt, and number 1 in yards per play metric. I think they're number 3 in red zone scoring and 7th overall in offensive efficiency. And when you compare that to the Bears offense, that ranks in the basement of every offensive quarter category in the NFL this year, it's going to be hard for the home team to try and keep pace with this Minnesota Vikings team that's been playing lights out on offense. And to be honest, in my opinion, I mean, the Bears' only shot in this matchup here is to try and run the ball on offense, and in order to keep Kirk Cousins and Dalvin Cook off the field. But that's a problem because Chicago's number 1 guy when it comes to running the ball, David Montgomery, he's on concussion protocol, and he still might play Monday night, but there's a great chance that he doesn't. So if he doesn't play, I really love Minnesota here. I think Minnesota's the right side. I mean, the only way the Bears can win this game is if they stop Dalvin Cook. If he starts to run wild in this division matchup, this game can get ugly real fast. Anytime Cook has ran for over 100 yards this season, the Vikings are 3-1, with their only loss coming to the Titans by 1 point. And in that game, they turned the ball over 3 times. So they should have actually won that game as well. So if they can't stop Dalvin, the bottom line is if the Bears defense can't stop Dalvin Cook, Minnesota's going to win this game and cover this.
Well, there you have it, guys. That is follow the action. You've got picks. You got bonus picks. You had 6 golf picks. You got all kinds of UFC picks. You got a Paul Felder pick from our non-biased Joey Oddessa, and Coach left the show. This is the greatest show in the history of shows.
Do you know how much I'm going to dislike Paul Felder? Like, I don't really dislike Paul Felder. He dislikes me. He doesn't like me because I pointed out a mistake.
You know what will really suck, Joey, is you give him out as a winner, and he ends up losing, and he beat him again. Yeah,
well, that's how it happens. I mean, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. I'm going in here with Paul Felder. If I lose this one's on me. The first one, I was just smartening him up. So,
and the biggest thing,
I'll get him in the boxing ring, Joey. I'll beat him up. Just let me fight him in the boxing ring. Not the UFC octagon. He'll kill me. But in the ring, I think I got a shot.
I'll get him in a hell of a cell. I'll get him in a cage match.
I think he's got a really good shot to win this week. No, not PG going to win. I'm saying I
hell
think
in his cell, JBL.
Got a good shot to win this weekend.
So, Joey, also, we're going to have UFC last week. You were 4-2. You and that old wise tree, the wise old tree, have been 13-2 the past 3 weeks combined. So
I got another bonus one for you, JBL. I'm going to do a video on our YouTube channel. Follow the action. Another 3% burial. And this one is going to be a money line monster.
Wow. That is huge. That is huge. That is why you subscribe to our YouTube show. That is why you follow our YouTube show. Don't forget this Saturday, 1 hour before the UFC prelims, we'll be back and we will break down the entire card from Mr. Dave Mason from Bet Online. We'll be there to tell you where the sharp money's going, where the public money's going. And, of course, we will have bagel time at that UFC prelim show. Fighting out of the city of brotherly love. He's the greatest sports bettor alive, the Philly Godfather, the future of sports betting. He is Mr. Matt from representing the college kids and the greatest combat sports handicapper walking on God's green earth, Mr. Joey Oddessa. I'm John Layfield. This is Follow the Action. Thanks for joining us. See you Saturday, 1 hour before the UFC prelims.
Hell yeah, guys. That was awesome.
Oh, that was great.
Oh, Coach got me.
Great fire, great energy, good fun. It was awesome. That was fucking really, really good.
Yeah, I think the